What's up, everybody? The CFL season is right around the corner, so that means another season preview, and we're talking Winnipeg Blue Bombers today. So I had to go out and get the one and only voice of the Blue Bombers, Derek Taylor. Appreciate you joining, man. How are you doing? I was just saying we're ramping up here. Hey.
I can't wait. The Bombers open Friday in Calgary. We could just fast forward to Friday. That'd be sweet. We had a big day of practice on Tuesday, but yeah, looking forward to Friday.
Sweet. Yeah, we are ramping up here. So we're just going to be taking a look at the team and just talking ball. That's really what we're doing here. We can go offense, we can go defense. Derek, where do you want to start? I'll leave it up to you.
Let's start with offense because defense has been number one in the CFL for each of the last 5 years. They've allowed the fewest opponent offensive points 5 years running. So while there's some changes and some neat parts, the Bomber season is entirely about can the offense finally, kick in after a couple of years of being, seventh best in the league.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be interesting what they look like. I think we should just be running the ball. Let's just keep running the
Oh
ball.
no, we're off to a bad start, you and me. Oh boy,
Hey,
I'm the anti-running back guy. Anyway, go ahead.
yeah, this will make for a good conversation then. It's I think just how they're built and how creative you can get in the run game. And when you got the star of the show engine, Brady Oliveira, right? I mean, over the past 4 seasons, he's been fantastic. Most outstanding player award winner, back-to-back most outstanding Canadian awards in there as well, and two all CFL nominations. And I mean, hey, you could use him in the pass game too. So maybe we can find some middle ground there. But I guess I want to start there because they've made the investment with Jarrell Broxton at right tackle. They've made the switch at center with Eli. Tell me about the offense in general and I mean, running game. What do we think of the run game this year?
Yeah, so Jarrell Broxton was the big addition, right? He's the highest paid American offensive lineman in the league. Curious to see what they do at center. They've moved on from Chris Kolankowski, but will it be 𝙎𝙬𝙗𝙪𝙗 or they could go American there for the first
Ellsbury,
time?
okay.
Yeah, in a long time. Could be Tyler Ellsbury at center starting on Friday. They haven't really done that consistently since Travis Bond. I think that was 2016. It's been a long time that they've been running three Canadians, but they've got the flexibility on the offense. So I'm still in Stanley Bryant's camp. Patty Neufeld, good. Gabe Wallace is the size of two houses. So it all looks good. But being able to get Jarrell Broxton, one, for the Bombers to pay a guy huge money in free agency is unusual. It's a dramatic pivot this year. Two, to get him from a division rival. And three, get him when he's 32 and could be your future at left tackle for the 7 years that follow this year. That's such an enormous move for the Bombers that I think everybody in Winnipeg is a giant fan of it. So you get Brady Oliveira, and there's a lot of consternation, though, because, yes, Brady Oliveira, but also does new offensive coordinator Tommy Condell like to run the football? He has this perception of him that he doesn't really like to run the football. We can discuss how true and not true that is, but Ottawa last year did not run the football a whole lot. So people here are kind of nervous. Well, is he just going to throw the ball over the yard? We'll find out. I don't think he will, but I will find out.
I mean, he has traditionally called, yeah, higher passing offenses. And Winnipeg, they were towards the bottom in run frequency, or sorry, towards the top of run frequency uh, last year in 2025. Okay, Zach Collaros. I would love to
Yeah.
hear how he's looked in camp. Boots on the ground there. How have you seen that mesh of okay, well, we got Tommy Condell coming in here, but with the big investment in Dante Daniels of the draft pick, you got Michael Chris Ike in there.
Mhm.
Tui Ellie, if he's not starting, has that experience as a swing tackle. You can get really fun and creative with doing some run packages, run stuff. How have you seen, Tommy Condell mesh so far?
Yeah, there's been a lot going on in camp with new bodies and Tommy Condell's is a real pivot. Zach Collaros, to me, I must confess, I am the self-professed governor of Collaros Island, so you won't hear any bad words about Zach out of me.
Okay.
But the last couple of years and even in 23, you noticed, okay, why isn't the deep ball doing the same thing that no, why is it underthrown to Nick Dembski in BC Place? Why is this happening? Why 2023 was the first time my radio partner Doug Brown went, oh, he undershot that one to Dalton Schoen. And so Zach adapt to getting a little bit older? Still mobile as can be, still an improvisational genius in my book. The last couple of years, he's had to run more. I don't know if he particularly wants to. Like, they're not quarterback draws, they're pass scrambles, or they're in man coverage, and I'm going to take off because I can get us 18 yards here.
Mm.
But I don't know that he necessarily wants to do that. He would probably love to sit in the pocket and just rip the ball to Tim White and Pokey Wilson and Tommy Neal and Nick Dembski for 1,000 yards. And here's some Gavin Cobb and Dorian Singer, and let's go beep, boop, 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 and just rip it all over the yard. That'd be great. And break his single season passing record would probably be his dream, because that would mean he's being protected from up front. You watched last year, there were some spots where it seemed like he bailed pretty quick because he wasn't sure about how it was going to go. New offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell, he and Zach have known each other since at least 2015, right? They get each other. Tommy gets, the roster that he has in front of him. It's Zach. Zach looks good. Zach looks like Zach. He's the most accurate passer the Bombers have in camp. I don't think people have asked me, what about the athleticism? I think it looks just fine. He doesn't have Taylor Elgersman's arm strength, but Taylor Elgersman doesn't have Zach's arm qualities, right? So I'm still in on Zach this year. We'll see where he ends up in the top 50 in TSN's poll, because I kind of wonder. But yeah, I'm all in on Zach, especially Tommy Condell was the make or break for me, and they brought him in, so it's make.
Yeah. Well, this is a unit that posted the second highest rush yards per game in 2025 and the second highest average gain per rush. So,
Brady Oliveira, right?
It clearly worked for them, and I mean, I don't think Condell's going to abandon it. I think he's never had a back like Brady Oliveira. He had James Butler for a little bit, I believe, in that 2015 season before he was let go by Hamilton, and then Butler's numbers actually went up when Condell left. So that is one thing to note. But we'll see. Hey, the receiving core has gotten a little bit more juice now. I think injuries, I mean, to Zach himself and to the receiving core played a big part in a little bit of that downfall last year. And like you mentioned, Tim White's now in, Canadian breakout Tommy Neal is in, and now you got Wilson for a full season now, who he was one of the best deep threats once he came in for the final 6 games last season. So, have they established that third Canadian starter at wide receiver? Is it going to be Gavin Cobb? Is it going to be Joey, who finished the year, or is it going to be Kevin Sclercius?
Yeah, Joey, Ricky, Ernest Corcoran. Right? I enjoy when he drops all 4 names on us. Kevin Sclercius got hurt in the first preseason game. He's had to move into the slot this year, which is a change. He's been that traditional Z receiver on the line of scrimmage, comes in, tight end stuff. They've changed his role this year because they've changed the way they run the offense. So it'll be Gavin Cobb to start the year. Gavin is this Canadian Swiss Army knife. Oh, Nick Dembski got hurt in practice. I'll take Nick's spot. Pokey Wilson got hurt in practice. I'll go take Pokey's spot. Joey, you take Nick's spot, and someone else will take my spot. Right? It's just he's fantastic. That said, we kind of keep our eyes peeled for Dorian Singer, who's a young American who popped in training camp, who can also factor in the return game if Trey Vobble was some reason not able to be in the return game. Dorian Singer could get a role. But so ratio-wise, they could get Singer into the starting lineup. Can he handle all the business out of what they would term the Z wide receiver spot? We'll be curious. But the receiving core they put out in the playoff game against Montreal, it was just, I mean, it was injuries, and it was probably the 8th best in the league, right? Like Pokey Wilson had 6 games back from the NFL. Carrick Wheatfall was in there, and then it was, Jarrett Stearns. I love Jarrett Stearns. Like, I love a cold beer on a hot Christmas morning. But
he catches everything.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He sacrificed his body in so many ways. Oh, Whit McManus is going to break my ribs? Cool, I'll still catch this football, right? Like, that's the kind of guy you want, but it just wasn't a powerful receiving core by the end. Now, if you're healthy, is Pokey the one? Is Tim White the one? Okay, is Dembski the 2? Is Dembski the 2-3? Tommy Neal is more athletic than I thought, just watching him work. And he's big.
Yeah.
Okay, and he makes big plays. Oh, and he's only in his mid-20s. What is he, 26? Something like that? And he's been in the league a lot longer than his age would tell you. The receiving core is significantly better. I'm not going to make the argument that it's the best in the CFL or maybe even among the best in the CFL, but it's certainly better than what it was after Lawler left and the Schoen injury and.
Well, they got some more juice now, and they're more deep, especially on the Canadian front as well. So,
oh yeah,
It'll be fun to see. And then of course when you have Broxton pass protecting, I mean he's allowed the lowest pressure rate among qualified tackles over the past 2 seasons. So it would be hard to see the pass game not improving, barring injury, right? And then if you pair that with that creative run game that you can get, they can go inside the tackles, they can go outside the tackles. I think it could be an overall bounce back year from Caleros and an offense that, they were bottom three in offensive points per game, touchdown drive percentage, and red zone
Yep.
opportunities in 2025. So I think there's potential bounce back opportunity for the Bombers, and it seems like you would agree there. Hey,
It's been a couple of rough years from Buck Pierce to Jason Hogan, seventh in points scored in both those years. It's been rough. The interesting thing with Broxton is in his time in BC, he was only a left-sided player, right? He started at
yeah.
tackle, he started at guard. He is the right tackle, opposite Stanley Bryant. I don't imagine that's a problem. It hasn't looked like a problem in camp, but just something that we'll keep an eye on because it is something he hasn't done since Baylor, I think it is. So yeah, it's been a while for a guy who's 32 to now go over to the right hand side.
Yeah, for sure. Well, all eyes are going to be on the offense to see if they can get up to the defense's level because defensively, I'm assuming in camp it's looked like a juggernaut again because Jordan Younger's unit has been really good, especially defending the pass since he's been promoted to defensive coordinator in 2024. I mean, they've allowed the fewest number of passing yards per game, passing touchdowns, and lowest opponent completion percentage over the past 2 seasons. So talk to me about the defense. I mean, I guess we could start on the back end since I brought up that
Yeah.
that pass defense because when you got that halfback duo in Dietrich Nichols, Evan Holm, and then you add in another former All Star and Jonathan Moxie. Yeah, that's a mix up for a good combo.
Yeah, so they moved Cramdy to safety this year, nominally the safety. They played him at the dime last year, and he would do a lot, deep lying stuff. They do some really creative stuff. Jordan Younger does in that defensive backfield.
Yeah.
But Dietrich Nichols, Cramdy, and Evan Holm, it's no coincidence that those are three of the seven highest paid defensive backs in the Canadian Football League. Shout out to the gang at three down for the salary numbers. They trust them inherently, and Jordan Younger runs a very complicated system that they trust those guys to be able to, one, do it themselves, two, process any changes, and three, communicate that to everybody else. So that's massive. The changes that we saw late last season and then this year, it's been interesting. His first year, Younger ran a lot of 7 and 8 man coverages. Last year, it was a lot like I think there might have been a couple snaps of 8 defensive backs, but there weren't many. And then late in the season, they would go to 3 defensive linemen and 3 true linebackers like Tony Jones, Kyrie Wilson, and Jaden Woodby. Oh, okay. Well, 3-3. Interesting. And Jones plays this joker or jack linebacker where he hangs over the field side as maybe a defensive end. Maybe he's dropping into coverage. Who knows? So the confusion up front of what we're going to do with that. Then there is, who's the deep lying safety? Oh, well, there seem to be a couple of them. And there are times you would see it on TV where, I can't see Michael Griffin on the field because he's so far behind the safety. Well, okay, what's happening here? So this season, watch Cramdy, watch Michael Griffin 32, and watch Jaden Woodby number 3. Watch and try to figure out who's the safety on this play, and then pretend you're the opposing quarterback who, Willie Jefferson's coming to kill me, and I need to know who the safety is because I need to know what coverage they're in, right? It's all about confusion and having these multiple athletes, and they've dialed in on the guys they want that they think can Woodby can rush the passer and put a pop on a tackle, and he can drop into coverage, he can curl flat, he can track running back, whatever. He can lie deep at safety. Right? Griffin, the same thing, is a thick body. Cramdy isn't near as big as those guys, but he sure doesn't mind sticking his nose in if he has to come up and run support. So, that interior, they'll figure out the edges, but that interior is what drives this bus. And what was it, 61% completion, 62 last year, by far the best in the league. They don't sack the quarterback, and that's a thing that gives, a little upset stomach to Bomber fans. Why don't they kill the quarterback? Well, because they figured out the other way to skin a cat is just not let you complete any passes.
Yeah, hey, I like Cam Allen even. I think he showed some good things in that, that safety nickel sort of rotation that you laid out there. Yeah, Major Williams winning the other cornerback battle. Just real quick, what have you made of him and what can we expect to see from him? Because he's joining It'd be unfair to say he's the weak link of the unit, but he is unproven because I mean, when you look at everybody else, like even one thing I wanted to mention about the halfbacks there, multiple all CFL nods since 2022, they're both durable. One game missed between both of them, since
Yeah,
2022, so or since
Nichols.
2023,
Yeah,
sorry. So they are they're durable as can be, but Williams, anyways, is kind of the rounding out piece and where they needed to figure out that spot in training camp.
yeah. We watch for will it be Major Williams? We presume it's Major Williams. He may or may not have got nicked up in practice. I guess we'll find out by Friday when the
Okay.
roster comes out on Thursday. Will it be Ridge Tejada, the third of the Tejada brothers, to try out for the Bombers, who slots over into that spot? Based on training camp, and Trey Vowell missed a lot of time in camp, I don't expect that they run Trey at corner and have him return as well.
Okay.
So maybe that bodes well for Ridge Tejada. But whoever that guy is, he gets to work with Dietrich Nichols, and Nichols will. Tyrell Ford explained it to me one time when he played for the Bombers. He's like, the halfback tells me what to do when I do it. I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That if you're new to the Canadian Football League, if you are Major Williams, if you are Ridge Tejada, who's a little less new, oh yeah. Oh, I run. Okay, I do that. Okay, good. I can do that. You can take maybe some of the thinking out of it because you're working with guys who are so experienced. And in Dietrich Nichols' case, just calm blue ocean. He is just always calm about everything, just very chill. That's that's pretty good. That will be the point to watch, though, right? Because everybody else, apart from the second defensive end, is a veteran with significant length of time in this league. So yeah, the rookie corner, whoever it might be, come Friday, will be the one to watch.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but definitely something to keep an eye on. Oh, you mentioned it. One thing that Younger and the unit has failed to pair with this dynamic back end over the past 2 seasons is a pass rush. Ranked last in sacks and tackles for loss over that span. Just not a lot of juice up front, but they've tried to address that juice and refill the I guess container. I was trying to find a juice analogy, but Serezna, they've brought in Serezna. I mean, he's when healthy, he was
Oh, unbelievable.
one of the best disruptors from the interior. Career lows across the board last season after dealing with a knee injury. He's backing up and running, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. He missed a couple days in camp, but if preseason games were regular season games, I think he would have played just fine. It's the interesting part about this Bomber team. Like I was saying, it causes Bomber fans some troubles. Is they clearly don't prioritize getting after the quarterback and sacking the quarterback. It's an interesting strategy, right? Because in all the years of data collection I've done, I look at it and go, oh, well, a quarterback who's under pressure is 80% more likely to throw an interception. So why not get after? They very clearly prioritize, we're going to cover. And last year you'd see as the season went along a couple more blitzes, but they're not particularly tricky, right? We'll show you seven, all seven are coming.
Yeah.
This preseason was here's seven, they're all coming. Here's eight, they're all coming. There's no Noel Thorpe. Here's eight, but try to guess which four are coming, right? Like Noel Thorpe is really in the confusion. I wonder if Younger ventures maybe into that this season. That'll be something to watch. But if not, if you're going to go with a three-man rush and it's Serezna, Cam Lawson, and Willie Jefferson on 2nd and 8, there's a decent chance Jake Serezna is going to beat a double team and murder somebody, right? Because
Yeah.
he's awesome. It was so funny watching him in camp. There's so many days in camp you just kind of watch everything. It was O-line against D-line, 1-on-1, 2-on-3, all this stuff in pads. And Serezna just so quickly dusted a guard. You went, did that guy even touch him? And he sort of did, but Serezna, immediate swat, killed the quarterback.
Yeah.
That was so fast. The next play, immediate swat, killed the quarterback. Like, oh, they can't even touch the guy rushing from the interior. It's absurd how good he is. And I'm still miffed that he resisted. I tried to bribe him to sit out the 2024 Grey Cup when he was with the Argos playing against the Bombers, and he wouldn't take my money. Can you believe that? He wouldn't take my money to sit out the Grey Cup.
And he's honorable too. Okay.
Yeah, would have helped the Bombers win if he had, but I guess I can't blame a guy for wanting to go out there and wreck in the championship game.
Hey, over the past 3 seasons before the down year 2025, two-time All CFL selection, 88 tackles and 30 sacks. Those are eye-popping numbers for a defensive tackle. And you mentioned the other guys along that line. Cam Lawson, more of your nose, sort of going to plug up the run kind of guy. And you got Willie Jefferson on the edge. I guess to be from a bit more of an outsider's perspective, not being at camp, it's more of a what am I going to get from Willie this year? I mean, the production has gone down. He's battled through some stuff. What do you make of the edge group with Willie, and then you got these younger Americans on the other side who I guess are vying for that spot.
Yeah, Willie was interesting last year, and we talked to defensive coordinator Jordan Younger this year, and he said he thinks Willie is just going to continue to wreck. We will note that Willie took about 150 fewer snaps than he did the year before, and as the season went along, 1st and 10, not a lot of Willie Jefferson on the field, which makes a ton of sense. Keep him up, use him in the spots. If you're going to limit his snaps, use him in the ones where he can wreck teams, right? Bat down a pass, force him to punt, sack a quarterback. Willie will say, I really need to get quarterbacks on the ground. They end up a little slippery in his hands, whatever it is, the hot, buttery popcorn quarterbacks, whatever it is that slip through his hands. Willie can still do some stuff. It's just not 2021 Willie Jefferson, right? So they limit his snaps. We'll see, if that continues or that stays what it was in 2025. And then it becomes, okay, when we go to these four-man sets or we go to the three defensive end package, how can Deshaun Dixon and Kadron Jenkins, and to a lesser extent, fourth overall pick Newer Gatkuth and practice roster player American David Reese, how can they contribute? Dixon will be one to watch because he is tall and he is strong. He had a sequence in camp where he jacked up Stanley Bryant on one. He beat Jarrell Broxton on the other, and then went inside and dusted a guard in consecutive plays. And I went, oh, okay, so 90. I wrote down 90. Okay, just watching for Deshaun Dixon. So yeah, they're like on corner, they need a rookie to contribute. They need a rookie to contribute at defensive end, however many they're going to put on the field at one time, and however many they're going to put on the roster at one time.
I mean, hey, yeah, if you're upending four-time most outstanding lineman and eight-time All CFL member Stanley Bryan, I'd be writing down your number
It
as
was a
well.
rep. Oh, it was, and again, it's just one rep in camp, and
Right.
it was only the one time I was watching. But you're like, oh, he just jacked Willie. Oh, and then he beat Broxton. Oh, that's I would retire at that moment if it's me, right? I'm like, oh, see ya, I did it. I'm out on
Another good
top.
note. All right, well, let's go to the linebackers now, which I guess would be the last thing we have to talk about. Unfortunate injury to Javon Santos Knox. He was another part of those acquisitions that Walters and Co. Made this offseason. And it looks like they're just going to be going back to what they were running last year, right? Between Tony Jones, who had a breakout season in 2025, landing an all-star spot, and then Kyrie Wilson. Hey,
18 games for Kyrie Wilson last year when he hadn't played that many since before COVID.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a real turn for Kyrie Wilson. It kind of pivoted. They brought in Jonathan Jones to be in free agency, and they kind of didn't need him because Kyrie played all the games. That's going to be very interesting because Jaden Woodby's in that mix as well, and Michael Ayers, the young special team American, is in that mix. They see him in camp. They might have found something that Michael Ayers can contribute on a regular basis other than just playing in short yardage situations. Jones, watch Tony Jones this season. Watch what 33 does this season because they love these three-man fronts. And what you saw last year was Jones, he's the middle linebacker, but he's lining up over the edge on the field side. And he's stuffing in against the run, or he might drop into coverage. He might rush the passer, whatever it might be. He's this joker or jack linebacker, it looks like. And you go, oh, okay, well, that's different. We don't see a ton of that. Kyrie then, shifts over to the middle, and Jaden Woodby, as we talked about before, can do so many things. Such a good athlete that guy is. So we're going to see. There's not going to be a lot of 4-3 like the old days, but there's going to be a lot of 3-3. I feel like three defensive linemen and three linebacker sets for the Bombers this year because they feel they've found the athletes that can really make this system work. They can do multiple things,
Yeah.
in 230-pound packages. And in this era it feels like the game sped up with this 35-second clock. Not having to sub out packages is going to be a benefit, I think, to the Bombers.
It's a fun group. It's a dynamic group. And it can be a hard-hitting group at times as well. So, excited to watch them. But yeah, like we started off the episode, I guess the offense will be something to watch and how it all unfolds. Derek, any last words you want to say? I mean, the Bombers, they've they've tried to extend this championship window here, and they just got approved now whether, they've propped open this window a little bit or if, it's going to come slamming shut in 2026.
If they find four more points on offense a game, and maybe they give up a lot of touchdowns on offense, oddly enough, last year, if they stop that, but if they find four more points on offense a game, they're going to be a 12-13 win team. If they somehow, if they got back, well, I was going to say, if they got back to 2023 levels of 32 points a game on offense, they're gonna run the West, but because that's an absurdly good number, right?
Yeah.
That's Nathan Rourke on steroids number. So if they can do, like here in Winnipeg, if they can find four more points a game, if Tommy Condell can craft four more points a game, if Zach Collaros can be healthy for more games than he was last year, and the offense can just kick in a little bit. If they were the second best offense in the league, sky's the limit for the Bombers. We're all holding our breath to find out if that's remotely possible.
Hey, even just getting, one more drive into Sergio Castillo field goal range, and
Which is the 61 apparently from the playoff on the preseason game. Nails
yeah.
from 61. My goodness.
So, hey, if you could just do that, then maybe you can get your points right there. Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining, Derek. Obviously, a fun team to talk about. They're looking to come back. So let's see if they have that bounce back. Thanks for hanging around. And if you enjoy the content, keep coming back. The season's here. We're right around the corner. It's time. So take care and thanks for watching.